Hello, everybody. Thursday, right? Happy Thursday. Okay, well, so this is Maria Banga. Maria Banga, founder of the association Hope for the Abused and the Battered. Maria Banga, motivational speaker. So many things in one, right? And well, I'm just myself. I'm called Mag. You can just call me Mag. Today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and yeah, I just saw a term, suicide survivor. So I'm a suicide survivor, and what it means is someone who attempted suicide but did not die. Because suicide is the deliberate taking away of one's own life. And some other people say it's a permanent solution to a temporal problem. It's a permanent solution to a temporal problem. But the thing is, when you are opting for that solution, you are not seeing that problem as temporal. You are seeing that problem as permanent, because there's already such a distortion in your cognition. You don't think straight. And so that is what prevention is all about. Raising awareness is all about. Sensitizing is all about. Advocating is all about. Because people need to know. People need to know what happens. People need to know what to do. People need to know how to behave. And if we don't talk, then people will just be guessing or reading. I don't know how many people go and read things up on Google and stuff like that. But if you have a platform like myself and you have a story like my own, it is best to use that. And that's what I'm doing today. On Saturday, I'm a guest on with some other people on another platform, Voice of Hope Media by AC Bang. And so Saturday, I think it's 5 p.m. Cameroon time. If you want to join us there, I'll be other people, so I'll be answering questions and talking according to the show. But this one is my show, so I talk what I want to talk, and I do it how I want to do it, for how long, and all of those things. So yeah, I enjoy having my own show on my platform. Okay, so what am I looking at this morning? I'm looking at suicide prevention, and basically breaking those two things down. Um, Before somebody gets to that stage, hi Fred, before somebody gets to that stage where they are contemplating taking away their own life, you cannot tell, or you cannot decide or determine who is getting to that stage and why and all of that. For me, all this God forbid is like, well, things happen. I mean, even pastors do things. People who are sleeping with God or talking with him every day, they go through stuff. So when you say God forbid what? Things happen. I think that we need to get past that rhetoric and into action. That's what we are going to be looking at. I'll be looking at when I'm talking about prevention, what we can do. So if somebody tells you, I'm depressed, I can't take it anymore, I'm in a dark place, don't start telling them God forbid, because they're already in that dark place, they're already depressed. God forbid is not a solution. Close your eyes, let's pray, forget about it. You cannot just forget about things like that. Can you yourself forget about things in your head? You cannot. It takes work, it takes love, it takes a lot of things. So before somebody gets there, you don't just, well, in my case, it's not like I had been married for what, 2005 2009, 4 years. And to be very honest, from the very beginning, I knew this was going down. This was not it. Maria Banga, what have you gotten yourself into? What is this show? What is this fake? In my book, I call that episode Marriage My Refuge. So I got married for, I say it, the wrong reasons, and it was just terrible. I just wanted to get married. I wanted to just have my own home. I wanted to leave my mother's home. I had a son out of wedlock, and I just kept feeling stigmatized, and I felt like, go have your own. So once I met someone, the person was like, oh, pretty. The people keep saying pretty, pretty, pretty. I was like, I don't just want, oh, pretty. I want to get married. Are we getting married? I mean, you meet someone in December and you tell them that in that same December, and by March you are married. What's that story, right? So you can imagine that I was already really sick there even by that time, because I got a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder later on. And all of that trauma was not just that one time. It was like from childhood going up. So that's a long story. But what I mean is that there is always a backlog, like you say, backup, or there's a backup story, there's a backdrop, there's the genesis, there is the proverb, there's the all of those things before you ever get to what is that, revelation or something like that. So anyway, we don't need to stigmatize people who have attempted suicide or who have even committed suicide or died by suicide. It doesn't help anymore. Somebody has gone, the person has gone. How many people know people who have died by suicide? How many? If you, whatever you say about it at that time, what does that do to them? They're gone. And it might actually even hurt the people left behind, like their children, for example. They grow up with all of that trauma and pain and shame, and it's like they don't want to ever talk about it. They don't want to celebrate the lives of their person because, well, the person died by suicide, the person committed suicide. What an embarrassment, what a shame. Oh my God, God was not with them, and all of those things. Anyway, so I wasn't thinking about what will happen to the people I will leave behind. I mean, I was even pregnant, 5 months pregnant, you know, so with this Gabi, the Gabi people see all over the place. But I wasn't thinking about that. I had lost my daughter in 2008, and it was really the height of my frustration and depression and sadness and all kinds of things in that marriage. Like, that wasn't me. It was like, how can I live from, people sometimes say live from fire to hot water, or hot water to fire. I was like, what kind of life is this, Mark? I'm a happy person by since childhood. I'm somebody who likes to smile, laugh, see people happy, play around, just be me. So now you get into a marriage where you are like walking on eggshells, you are being abused, and you yourself start doing some kind of terrible things, like you are committing adultery, for heaven's sake. You are talking to other people out of your marriage. You are like, you are faking it, you are pretending that everything is good, whereas you are just feeling so terrible inside. I was on autopilot. Like, I don't even know what I was doing. I couldn't feel nothing. The sex for me was rape, because it was like, that's not me, nothing. So I just got up one day. I remember I used to get up and just lie there. Sometimes I would go and do my sports, come back. No, but 2009 I had not yet started, so the sports was not in the question at that time. So I will just get up and try and get the kids to go to school, and then just go me back to bed and sleep there until that day. And then, you know, with pregnancy now, it's like first trimester, so you are not so in the mood. I had court. Did I have court? I don't know, but at 11 o'clock, I remember the time very well, because I looked at the time. I had been thinking and thinking. I was like, let me just end this whole thing. Let this man come back and meet the cops in his house, you know, and let the story be whatever the story is. I'm fed up. And I was crying, and I was like, God, I mean, yeah, well, these other 2 children that are there, but I just cannot do this anymore. I'm seriously fed up. So please forgive me, but I'm going, you know. And whatever the voice was telling me at that time, I wasn't hearing. I just got up. I had hair. It was just like tired and everything and stuff. I just went into the kitchen. I took a nap. I was wearing something like this one, you know. I came back to the room and I knelt down, you know, so that I can just really put the knife very well and just go. And then I started feeling my stomach. As I lifted it, the baby just kicked me like that, and that boy just said, what are you doing? And the knife just fell, and I just collapsed, and I cried. And I was like, oh my goodness, me again alive. Because I used to sleep and just say, where Papa God, let me not wake up. I don't know if anybody has ever been in that place where they sleep and their own last prayer is, where Papa God, let me not wake up, you know. So I got up and I picked that knife later on, and I just went and kept it back there, and I just went me back to bed and just cried until maybe, I don't know, I slept and whatsoever. And you know, that was it. And then, well, it was time to go and take them from school, or the school bus brought them and everything. But I was really a sad woman. I was so depressed. I was like, you know, there was no joy around me anymore. And my boys were strong, because I used to pretend for them, but I don't think that I was giving them my best. And that's one reason why I decided to go. because I wasn't loving myself anymore. I didn't even know what I was doing there, and I don't think that they deserve to have me that way. So if I couldn't kill myself, let me at least leave them, go, get better, take them with me. That was my initial plan, but it didn't work out that way. So I came back, and I came back with this fire, this determination. I used to write and say my second lease at life started in that 2009. So this is 11 years of second chance, and I'm not joking, right? I cannot take 1 minute for granted. That's why I don't waste my time. Like, time is not everlasting. So people have gone at less than my age. So how can I be wasting my time? I don't. Sometimes people will say, oh, you're harsh, you're no nonsense, but that's what I am, because I don't have time to waste. I don't fool around with people who don't know what they want in life. Sometimes people come and they really have issues and you want to work with them, but it takes too much energy, and they are not so sure and everything. Well, you must not do everything, right? But the least you can do is at least just hold space, listen, and show compassion. Don't be quick to judge. Don't even judge. What are people judging about? You don't know. Just like bullying in school, you can bully a child and the child goes and commits suicide. You say, oh, just that small bully. Did you have to bully? It's like the new one now is cyberbullying. I don't know. Why are people doing that? You don't even know who you are. You don't know what that person is going through, and then you go and bully them. Some people will think, no, I want them to learn a lesson. No, there are different ways. When I don't watch those things, but once in a while, yeah, oh, this person said this about this person, and before when I used to watch, you'll be insulting people, your head, your eye, your buttocks, your face, your mouth, your this, your that. Somebody can take it so personal, and then, well, next thing you hear is they jumped over a bridge. They committed suicide. You don't know what people are going to. Before Takam in the US went and shot the wife, I don't know whether people knew that the man was going through stuff, and he did not just shoot the wife. He shot his own self, so he committed suicide. The Ghanaian priest pastor of how many days ago, he shot the wife but did not commit suicide, but he went and locked himself up in his house, and I don't know whether he was hiding or whatsoever, but that's just to tell you that people go through stuff and people think anyhow at that stage, like when you are desperate, you are frustrated, all of that, you just want a solution. After all, everybody is going to die. So what if I go now than to be living such a miserable life and having to pretend? I was a people lawyer in 2008, and that's when I passed my first exam, and we had this thing called once a week or once a month we will all meet somewhere and with the bar president and stuff, and then they'll give a small training, and then when we meet, everybody has to be smiling. Everybody wants to show what is a new thing in their life, a new car, a new suit, new shoe, new bag, all of that. And I remember sometimes going. And before then, I was working in MTN. I was still working in MTN even at that time. I left MTN in September 2008. So I'll be well dressed. I'll be in my car. I think the guy got me a Peugeot 406 or whatsoever kind of car like that. I didn't like it, but I was driving it, So, people will be smiling, oh, Madam Gambu, whatsoever, and you're just there. But I couldn't wait. I cannot even tell you what they were saying in those things. I'm somebody who also likes to crack jokes, so a way of escaping from my reality at the time was just to be joking and laughing and making noise and trying to just be there, just so that I don't face my own self. So I'll just sit there, I'll be making noise, distracting and laughing with people. Whatever they're saying there is their own. And then as soon as it is over, I'm down, bam, in my car, just drive and go home. I did not used to go out to events, and I still don't, I'm a loner at heart. I don't mind staying in my corner, especially now that seeing the kind of crazy things happening in the world. Now, I don't want anybody to come too close to me. I don't want to be hurt, and I don't want to hurt anybody. So as much as I'm a nice person, I'm very, very, very careful. Okay. So that was it. That was 2008, and then I lost my baby. And who talks about child loss? Who? In this society, talk, hey, not talk about, God forbid. You make us so God no go give you another one. Blah, 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 blah. So you are dying. I mean, I can never forget my supervisor in MTN at the time. She came with 3 of my colleagues. Her car, the driver, and 2 colleagues plus her, 3 plus the driver, 4. They came to see me at my mother's house in Bonaberry. I can never forget. Those were the only people, who came to see me. Apart from 1 or 2 friends who knew I had given birth the day before, and so came to the hospital the next day to see the baby, and then the baby had died. That was all. And there's no way people will not know that your baby has died. People who saw you pregnant will know that the baby has died, even if you don't tell them. Because if you have the baby, then they will know that you had the baby. And then, so many of them called me like the next day to ask after the baby. And then I said, well, she passed away, and that was it. It's like, contamination. If your baby dies, I come near you, my own baby too can die, or I may not get pregnant, and all of those things. You see all of that stigma. Then I was already in a dark place before that baby passed away. That baby was the last hope for me to just stay in that marriage. So once she went, I was like, okay, Angel has gone. I don't know for how long I'm going to survive in here. So I was just on autopilot. And then 1 year later, as the abuse just kept continuing, we never talked about it. I watched some other things people talk about, how, the man was there, the woman, or they prayed. We never, up to today. He's not even the one who told me where they buried my daughter. I just found out maybe from my mom, because I asked my mom, and so I used to go there. It was in his house where he's living now, but, well, the last time I went there, like in 2018, I told her I'm not going to come there again because she's in my heart, right? So how do we prevent suicide? Now that we know, at least from my personal experience, what people can go through, what can trigger that frustration, that desperation, that hopelessness, that helplessness. Anything can trigger. I'm just using my story, right? Another person I just read in one group I belong to, what triggered was her childhood neglect, the trauma, she did not feel like she belonged to any group. She didn't have friends. She didn't have a boyfriend. She was 21 or 22. She's 24 today. So you see, at any age, have we not even heard of 11-year-old, 10-year-old people, how difficult is it to cut yourself, or to, when you are really in that space, that's a good solution for you. People can say, hey, God forbid, the devil is a liar, la, 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 la. But I'm telling you, I was there. And I used to go to church and all of that. But I didn't think about all of that at that time. All I wanted was to just get out of this world. And I've had friends who have died by suicide. One died in 2016, 2017 in South Africa. And I really felt so bad because we were kind of friends online and stuff like that. And I named my cat after her, and the cat also died. And so there's that. People die. And people die by suicide. This year has been so challenging. People are just hanging on. So how do we prevent suicide? We have to be aware that people are fragile in different ways. So we need to be careful about the kind of things we say to people. Especially if we even know that somebody is struggling. It is not for you to say, oh, na small struggle, na some struggle that, I'm struggling with much more than that, and all of that. Maybe because I'm a therapist, my job is to listen to people, to help people out, so I cannot be there too. That's why even for these men of God and stuff, I'm not chastising them, I'm encouraging them to seek for help. I'm encouraging them to really pray to God for their own selves. I'm encouraging, I'm like, look at the kind of things that is happening in your own community. does this not indicate that you have a problem? So instead of just faking it and trying to solve other people's problems, start with your own self. Because if I did not work on myself, I cannot even do what I am doing now for other people. Like somebody called me today and said, oh, there's another young girl, she wants to commit suicide, she has been raped and all of that. Can you take her in? I was like, no, I can't, but I can talk to her and all of those things. So yeah, so the whole space for people, don't make people feel worse than they already feel. Don't judge people. Don't bully people. All this don't push people into living, I don't know whether it's fake lives or stuff. If you are good where you are and you like all the things you have and it gives you great joy to flaunt them and stuff like that, good. But don't compare yourself with people. This is me. I'm wearing this thing. This is my home. I love it. I'm not looking forward to a bigger one and stuff like that. I mean, I would have been happy or happier, or I would 3 bedrooms so that the boys can have one, the girl can have, and I can have my own. But so what? I mean, like, I'm not pushing myself to any extreme so that I move. Because when you move there soon, you're like, oh, but 4 bedrooms, so that visitor, 5 bedroom. I'm like, all this ground cargo is to take and go to where now? So that's something. Because prevention is you yourself putting yourself in a good place, or mindful of where you are, and realizing that what you can control is your reaction to all those external stimuli, which can make you more go into that dark place, stay there and stuff. Especially as an adult, you can do that. I can do that. I'm doing a lot of that, right? I mean, I'm at home today. I'm in no rush to go to the office and all of that. I plan my program and I can decide how much I'm exposing myself to stressors or not, stuff like that. Another thing we can do as adults for prevention is be mindful of how we relate with people who are either struggling, or just people. You don't even need to know whether somebody is struggling. I don't know whether you, Fred, you are struggling. I don't. But I just have to be nice to you like I would expect to be treated. That's how I treat people. So even if I am, the other day somebody left the office, then they wrote to me they wrote a strong email and stuff, and I could feel some emotions, strong emotions in their email, and I was like, I am not going to respond to this email with those kind of strong words and everything. I'm going to let it come, and then I'm going to reach out and I'm going to tell them, well, this is ending, but our relationship doesn't end, and I don't hold it against you. You have a right to, and stuff like that. And then we stayed, and the other day they visited in the office and stuff like that. It's like, that's why even relationships, I'm like, I don't like grudges. There's no one I'm bearing a grudge in. No one. And I don't want to enter another one where someone is going to want to try to control and try to be like, oh no, this one, that. No, because I'm just treating humans the way I am and the way I want to be treated. You just don't want to push somebody to the edge. And then now for adults, parents, guardians, people who are responsible for children, don't push that child, because you might even do something to a child now. The child will not commit suicide now, but the child is going to grow up feeling so worthless and so dejected and all of that. And before you know it, well, maybe 24, 25, some mental illness has set in and everything goes anyhow, and then the child is committing suicide. You think that it started from where? And that's why I'm so pissed at people who abuse children. I'm like, what are you doing? You don't know that you're killing that child softly? Why? The worst one is if you are the natural parent of that child. Or if you're a person in authority, like a pastor, priest, all of those things. And then like one of those boys that was abused, the grandmother had actually given him to this pastor to mentor him, or take him to the pastor to mentor. They bring a child for you to mentor, and you sodomize the child, you do all what? It's like, God. He said, okay, that's your next assignment, take it up. And I'm like, hey, Papa, but I'm still working on it. Like, how am I taking this thing up? I'll just keep raising awareness like this, keep talking about it. I'm being careful in my own corner. I'm like, I don't want to be close to anyone. No, I don't want my boys to be close to anyone. No, like be very careful who you allow your children around. You yourself, don't do that to those children. People who commit incest, oh my goodness, who beat children up, abuse children, insult them, all of those things. Tomorrow, when that child becomes something, bipolar disorder, whichever one, you say, well, and you can abuse a child by being all that violent and neglectful and everything. And you can also abuse a child by spoiling them with too much. Sometimes when people feel, oh, as long as I provide everything they want, they should be good. Children want your presence, not your presence. So it is not the latest gadget, the latest iPhone, the money, then abundance. I once used to work in, there was a prison office around Liberman. That was where the prison office was, at Liberman. And so I used to hear their stories there. A child will come to school with 100,000 francs, 50,000 francs. A child at 16, they are already experimenting with ecstasy, cocaine. Wow. Okay, so that was what I wanted to share. I was like, it's a whole long topic, and whatever. Today is the day, so let me use my story to raise awareness. As you can see, well, I'm in a good place, right? I'm not in a place where you need to be concerned about me. I know how to take care of myself. Yeah, I'm a bit emotional today, but it's going to be okay. This is the day, so I think about it. But I'm just so grateful for that, because it's been a second chance and it's only been better. I mean, when you are doing something the second time, you want it to be better than the first time. So for me, it's a second chance at life, and I want this chance to be the best or better than the first chance, especially as I am in control of my life. I'm not looking for any validation from any human being. Seriously not looking forward for any handouts and stuff. That projects, and we can donate and we cannot donate. I'm just so grateful for all of that. But my life goes on until when my own time is up, like Chadwick Boseman's own time was up. I'm ever conscious of that, and so I just make my conscious choices every day and take care of myself, do my sports, cook my food, read my books, do things and stuff like that. I don't want to get there, because people who have also attempted suicide, they are at higher risks of attempting again. And the second time, according to statistics, they will not fail, because I don't want to be failing now. So if I ever get to that dark place again, and let me not get there, but the World Health Organization says every 40 minutes somebody dies by suicide. So let that scare you a little bit. Think very well about it. Sometimes we don't know, or we don't talk about it and stuff like that, but me, I'm unconventional. I talk about anything and I don't hold back. So whether people are happy with me sharing my story and think that, oh, I'm embarrassing, or I should have said it using somebody's name, or whatsoever, I really don't care. As long as I'm in a good place, I'm taking care of my life, I feel fulfilled with my choices, then I'm good to go. Okay, I always appreciate those who join. Grandson, thanks for coming now. I'll see you on Saturday, and yes, God bless us all.